Hello, and welcome. My name is Asherah, and welcome to my unique PhD journey. I want to say that my energy is feeling a little bit frustrated at the moment, so I don't even feel like doing a pop-off introduction. I feel pissed off. I feel rather upset. I feel annoyed. I feel disrespected. Yeah, because I felt them, I was able to release it. So what is my problem? My problem is that I woke up this morning and carried on some work that I've been doing for my granddad from last week, and it's just put me in an annoyed position in it, because certain things that he's saying to me and certain things that he's letting me know and certain things that I'm coming to understand is just pissing me off. Like, I don't understand why people go on the way that they go on or do the things that they do, man. It's annoyed me. You know, I believe my granddad to be a good man, and the way he's showing me and telling me that he's been treated is not what I would consider to be good. But then at the same time, life is what it is, isn't it? Okay, so hello, my name is Asherah, and welcome to my unique PhD journey. I'm exploring dissociative identity disorder / psychosis with conscious expansion, blending the 3D academic world with my 5D spiritual practices. I'm also training as a shamanic practitioner and bringing my gifts as a clairvoyant and a medium. As we dive in, please note that when I am channeling spirit, the insights are personal and spiritual. They are not clinical. While I have academic training in mental health, this journey is about my authentic, multi-dimensional exploration. So let's embark on this journey together and uncover the intersections of science and spirit. I just got a burst of joy then. That was really good. Can feel like such immense emotions on either side of the spectrum in minutes or seconds, man. Boom, feel low and then high and then high and then low. Like, just got to learn to alchemize it as I go along and understand why am I feeling that way. So as I said, I started to look into some stuff around my granddad. You know what I mean? It's like going down a fucking rabbit's hole, you know, with regards to, you know, what he left. Did he leave a will? Now 10 years after the fact, me no know. And in 2021, as far as I understood it, my mum and her sister, youngest sister, didn't know either. Like, what kind of stupidness is this? But like I said, I had lots going on. I was like, Granddad, I cannot take on that right now. Let me deal with this stuff. And then when I deal with this stuff, I felt so guilty. You know what I mean? He said, no, that's absolutely fine. I feel air in my belly, making me know that it is fine, because we're doing what we need to do now. What a ting. I just heard, what sweet nanny goat, I got running belly, man. For real. Absolutely. No joke. So anyway, Harstead cow blood clot. Let me know. I'm letting YouTube play as I'm sorting out my stuff for my granddad. Then this comes on Bronwyn. I don't even know how long ago. Was it several hours ago? Sure.
To Christmas when this is being
filmed. Yeah, 12 hours ago. Look at the title, weren't nothing special. It just said, you broke every illusion that was put on you via rumors. How did it? No, you did it. You did it. Will surprise everyone. Yeah? 12 hours ago, Bonwing Cove Tower 111. But it was the juice that she got into, so I must have got halfway in the reading. Can you see where the silver line? Well, probably can't even see the line, but I'm sure I got about halfway, if not far off. And I thought, nah, man, this woman's chatting beans, blood. But this is what Granddad's been saying. So hear it from somebody else's mouth. You know, say it's not lie I'm telling. It's a blood clot. But wait till she gets into it, yeah.
Something was not reciprocated, received, accepted. there's a stress here.
Let me wind it back to the beginning. So let me tell you something about what I'm talking about that got me annoyed and frustrated today. Was
some stress, and I may have a
for some reason, but the reason why I felt the way that I felt today is because my granddad is just confirming to me that certain children of his did not do certain things that they were supposed to do. You know what I mean? And he told me from 2014 to hold a meeting with everybody. Couldn't have been 2014, but it feels that way. I feel like Granddad was still alive. Because I had Tai. It was Tai Tai's first birthday and Tai Tai's born 2013, so it has to be before he died. It was a dream. And in the dream, Granddad was telling me that I need to hold a meeting and have all the family there and invite everybody to Tai Wayne's first birthday, where we was going to talk about some shit, because there was loads of things happening at the time. That's why it is before Granddad died, because there was passa happening before Granddad died in the family. We'd gone from everybody going up there on a Wednesday to eat, and certain family members being there every Wednesday with all of their picnic up. Yeah, there was some family passa for true, Granddad, for true. Okay then, so yeah, there was certain family members going up there, so other family members had a problem, and they felt say Wednesday should just be for the adults, and the grandchildren, as in my age and my cousins, because there's like 26 of us. Yeah, and some of us are going up there every Wednesday without picking them to eat. Which at the end of the day, that's what it's there for. That's what Granddad created the Wednesdays for, and it's so everybody could go up there and eat. So what's the problem? Do you know what I mean? What is the problem? But some people had a problem. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, it went on until it was decided that Wednesday now the grandkids can't come up there with the great grandkids no more on Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be for the big people, because Nanny and Granddad are getting older. They haven't got long to live, and their children want to spend time with them. That was the remix we were given. Now, I weren't one of the ones that was up there on Wednesday with my picnic them. You get what I'm saying? I visit my Granddad and Nanny outside of Wednesdays and just go there and do what I gotta do for them, where it's not the house ain't too pack up and you can actually tidy up and pack the dishwasher, and you know what I mean, because it gets busy up there. I don't get me wrong, some Wednesdays I'd go up there obviously because it's family time, but I went every Wednesday, you know what I mean. But like I said, Granddad was never one to cuss about food, you know what I mean, but they wanted to spend time with their mother and their father, so that's what they did. But I think from then, I think things really went downhill, because whatever was being talked about, you know what I'm saying, was just creating more and more animosity. And maybe it was truth time and people were talking their truths, you know, and you can't really blame people for talking their truths, but it depends which truth. Because some people's truth is not the truth. Some people's truth is a bunch of images that they've put together and now they're calling it truth. I'll give you an example. 2020, 2021, I was in my big sister's yard, who lived next door to my little sister, or my little sister moved next door to her, but then she moved. So by this time, my younger sister is living. So there's my big sister, me, and the sister that follow me. We're all together in my big sister's yard. But that big sister and the one that follow me did used to live next door together, next door to each other. But the little one did move further away, and she's come up to visit. So we're sitting down chit-chatting, aren't we? Yeah, I'm saying, and we're talking about certain things about our childhood. Anyway, the story goes on to my little sister saying something about, yeah, that's why I don't like boats. That's why I don't go on boats, because of that time when a girl from our childhood pushed her into the lake at Handsworth Park, where all the ducks was, and it was all nasty and gooey and it was disgusting. I mean, I was like, what? Just then Rachel my big sister must have got up and went out the room. And I was like, what are you talking about, Naomi? What are you talking about? You pushed Serena, you pushed the girl in the water, not the other way around. What you on about? You don't want to go on boats because you got pushed in the water. That time it was you that pushed her. She was like, no, I got pushed in the water. I got pushed in the water. That's why I don't go on boats. That's why I don't go on boats now, because I got pushed in the water. So I'm howling with laughter. So anyway, I said, wait till Rach comes back in. So Rachel comes back through the door. I said, Rachel, listen to this one here. This one's trying to say that Serene pushed her in the water. Rachel was like, bitch, no, you pushed Serene in the water. And the other was like, did I? No, I didn't. And we was like, yeah, you did. And we all had to take off parts of our clothes to put around this girl so we could walk all the way back from Handsworth to Lowe's house, because you pushed her in the finger. All the little girl did to you was pretend to push you and say, tell your mum I saved your life. She was ramping with you. And you took it to heart and waited for her to get as close as she could to the edge before you pushed her. You was premeditated. She stood there in complete shock, you know. That she had got it in her head that she was the victim of that crime, where she was the actual perpetrator. And it's not that the person is a liar, because my sister isn't lying. She's not making up stories. Well, she has. But in that moment, she's not making up stories. She's not pretending to not believe. She literally has convinced herself through a series of images that she has put together in her head, and come up with a scenario where she was the one that got pushed in. And then she's allowed those fake, images, if you like, made up images, to actually become a story in her life as to why she doesn't go on boats. I mean, what's the boat got to do with getting pushed in a pond anyway? But, drowning, I guess, is the link, the essence behind it. But the fact is, she never hit the water. She never went in the water. She was the one who pushed somebody else in the water. Somebody else had that experience because of her. Somebody else deserved the right to not go on boats because of her actual experience caused by this girl. And it's just interesting how the mind works. It really is, because we can go around and we can really honestly believe something, and it is not the truth. It's not the truth. We have to be prepared to question our thoughts, because not all our thoughts are real. And as crazy as that sounds, and as uncomfortable sometimes as that sounds, especially when you've got it in your head that this is what happened to you. My sister was adamant at one point, no, this happened to me. I got pushed in the water. No, you didn't. We were all there as witnesses, and we were older than you two. And you pushed that little girl in the water. I felt so bad for her. You know what I mean? We were all friends. We're still friends. I'm 44 years of age, and if I see them two sisters, Afi and Serena, I'm already, I would never stop and not say hello. But you pushed Serena in the water that day, and Serena remembers. So this is what I'm saying about memories. So I don't know whether or not at Nanny and Granddad's house some truths were being spoken, and everybody's definition of the truth was somewhat different to some people's. And Harsted Calfa, Granddad saying, he used to get a headache. He used to get a headache between all the squabbling. He used to sit there thinking, oh my God, is this what it's amounted to? He said Nanny used to just sit there. But you know why I know that's true, Granddad? Because my mum used to say the same thing. My mum used to say Nanny would be on the phone to her and agreeing with everything my mum said. And then come Wednesday, Nanny don't remember shit. Nanny ain't got nothing to say. My mum would say, fucking frustrate her, Nanny would be in agreement. But Nanny's that type of person. My mum's mum was, I should say, because she died this year. She was that type of person. Sit down there like she don't know nothing. That time she knows plenty. She's just very selective And she will also just nod at whoever's doing the talking, because one, she don't want no argument. You get what I'm trying to say? She'd rather just agree, because at the end of the day, everybody's got their truth, I guess. You know what I mean? But at the same time, she knew what she was doing in certain situations. And the more my mum spoke to me about certain situations, I say to my mum, but can't you see the manipulation in that? Can't you see that you're being manipulated by Nanny? Like you're being manipulated into being the Rottweiler, being the one that speaks up when Nanny's quite capable of speaking up for herself. And if Nanny's not capable of speaking up for herself, you leave Nanny to rot then. You leave Nanny to rot, because at the end of the day, closed mouths don't get fed. And my mum's like, no, it's not because of that. It's, Tuesday. I said, what is it then? What makes your mum be able to talk on the phone to you and say what the truth is, and say what pisses her off and what don't piss her off? And she's got this relationship with you that she can just be open, honest and authentic. But when push comes to shove and she's in the room with everybody, she loses herself and can't be herself. So that's what my mum believes is going on. That Nanny can't be herself with everybody else. And I'm saying Nanny is being herself. Nanny is being herself. She's just probably got many sides to herself, and she plays which side she feels fit. I'm a good judge of character, because I see what people do. I see the games that people play. And my mum's playing the same game on me, feeding me, talking one way with me and a different way with others. So I could be that Rottweiler. I grew up in the same thing. That's why I'm able to call it out for what it is, because I've been there. Who knows it, feels it. I'm able just to see it differently. And when you're describing what you're describing to me, I can see how you became that way with me. And that helps me a lot. That helps me understand the reason why you are the way you are. Because it's good to understand why people are the way they are. You're not always going to understand, but one must try to understand. Not because, I don't think it's because we owe them, but I think it's because we owe ourselves, because the way that they are is a way that we are. And if we could understand why they are, we can understand why some of these hidden parts of us might be the way that we are, because there might be an experience that's similar. I don't know, I just feel like it's helped me see my mum in a way where I feel like I'm not bothered by her so much anymore. Now, how I got to not be bothered by her in the first place was my older sister. My older sister just says to me one day, you get too emotional about her. Me, I just see her like she's a girl on road. You know what I mean? And from I see her that she's a girl on road, emotionally, I'm not all up in it like that. And I thought, wow, how do you see your own mum like a girl on road? That's deep, blood. It took me a while to get into that zone. You get what I'm saying? You see your mum like a girl on road. Hold on there. Your mum, your mum. How you gonna see your mum, the woman who birthed you, the woman who put it down? Do you get what I'm saying? How you gonna see her like a girl on road? My sister's like, yo, when someone's constantly coming at you, like you're a girl on road, you can't not then start to see them like a girl on road, because it'd be fucking dangerous. Imagine somebody sees you like you're a girl on road, deals with you like you're a girl on road, and you're still trying to show them love. So that's how people get stabbed in the back by friends, because they never see it coming. They think a friend wouldn't do that, but I look at a friend's side-eyed sometimes, a family member side-eyed sometimes, because they're not all rosy. And that's what I was doing. I was looking at everybody like everybody was friend. But was I? That's what I'm trying to say. Was I? Because everybody in my family knows that there's certain people that I have not chatted to from young, talking like 9. I made up my mind, I don't like that person. So it wasn't that I didn't know who was who. I just had to be selective and make choices wisely. Who I was going to have around, who I wasn't going to have around, who I was going to put my toe in the water and take my toe back out of the water, etc., etc., etc. You know what I'm saying? Self-preservation is a must. But anyway, I don't want to kind of go on and on, but I just wanted to share that my mom, her sisters and her brother, the 5 of them, I have not really had much dealing with, apart from probably my mum's 3rd sister, or second from last, I should say. And that's mainly because me and her daughter grew up as best cousins, you know what I mean? So I would want to be around her, or she would want to be around me, and we'd play, you know. But at the same time, growing up as a kid, I really did enjoy my auntie P's company. But my mum used to always warn me about her. Yeah, I'm saying, be careful of Pauline, be careful of Pauline. Pauline ain't no nice somebody, you know what I mean? And I grew to learn. I grew to learn to understand what my mum was saying all those years ago, but I had to go through certain things with her to see it. Not to see it because I could see it, but there were certain parts of my experience that was necessary, and I've 100% put my hand up for it. You know what I mean? I don't have no regrets. I don't have no regrets, man. It's been a beautiful experience. You know what I mean? But they always say it's the quiet ones that you gotta look out for. And the sister that follows my mum, Bev, quiet. You know what I mean? I've always looked out. I've never pushed up myself. You know what I mean? If we end up having a conversation, we end up having a conversation. One time when I got older, I went to her workplace. I was looking at a job, and she happened to be the manager there. I couldn't believe it because my mum has said all my life that these bitches never worked a day in her life. My mum's had some fucking things to say about her sisters and brothers, you know. But they all have had things to say about my mum too. They all talk about each other terribly. But if you feel that way, why don't you just tell them? Why have you got a so behind their back? These are the reasons why I used to get boxed in my mouth, because I chat too much. I chat too much. They used to say, "Oh, she's just like her dad. She's just like her dad." Because my dad, he's not known for chatting people's business. He's just known for saying what the fuck it is. That's not chatting people's business. Chatting people's business is what they're doing. They just don't understand. They don't understand that what they're doing is chatting people's business, because you go around talking about each other's business. If you sit down with the person whose business it is and you chat their business back to them, and you tell them ones or twos about their business, and you make them know this is their business shouldn't be on road. Do you understand me? What are they doing? Sort out their business. It's clean up time. That's not chatting somebody's business. That's just being upfront with somebody about their business. So my dad's side of family, the Roses, are very in your face. If there is a problem, they're going to come to you and they're going to say, this is my problem. I'm not saying they won't sit down there and fester for how long, but you definitely fucking know what the problem is. Everybody else might know what the problem is, but you yourself will know what the problem is. You won't have to wait for nobody to come and tell you somebody's got a problem with you. You will know what the problem is. And that's how I am. I'm not one to sleep on it. If I have a problem or something has upset me, I'll say. You know what I'm saying? Now, I might not always say at the time, because the Almighty and my spirits are very, very particular with what I share and when. And sometimes when I do want to share it at the time, and they've said no, I just have to hold it down and be like, no, and just alchemize that energy. Smile. You know what I mean? Is what it is. But Granddad's been talking a lot, and I've been getting a lot about these people. Now, when my granddad was alive, he told me to come to his house. I went to his house. Bev was there and Lyde was there, my mum's oldest brother. And Granddad was saying he wants to take me to the bank to sort confirmation. He wants to take me to the bank to sort out some paperwork, and Bev and Lyde were vexed about it. And because they were vexed about it, I said to my Granddad, you know what? I'm not gonna bother come. I don't think it's my place. Like, I'm a grandchild, and you're you know, these are your children. You know, like the Wednesday situation is like that. You know, like the grandchildren can step aside and let the grandparents' children have time with their parents because they don't have very long. It was like I did not want to trespass. That's what it felt like. Plus the evil eye was there anyway. And it weren't nothing really to do with the evil eye. I just didn't feel like it was my place to be in Granddad's business. And my mum says to me, I should have gone and I should have listened when Granddad was talking to me throughout the years. I just didn't feel like it was my place. And I can't apologise enough. And this is why I was so upset last week when I was crying in the office and I was like, oh my God, what is the matter with me? But it was like, Granddad just making me know that I don't have anything to be guilty over. You know, that he understands the situation and everything played out the way it was meant to play out. You know, the delays, the not knowing, the sneaking around, the doing fucker shit. You know what I mean? Everything played out the way it was meant to play out anyway, so there's no love lost. But this woman here started to chat two things on this video, and me want you for hear what she has to say about what she has to say. Yeah, because things are getting spicy. If you know, you know. Turn it up.
Ulcer. There was pain in the third eye, and I feel like it was pain in almost like the third eye wants to open, but someone is shutting it down. And then the heart is very, very guarded. Now, I don't feel like this is your energy. I feel like this is somebody who may be watching you closely. This is somebody who may have spread rumours or wants others in a specific community to believe certain things about you that may not be true. Okay, we have got the devil card coming out here. This could be Capricorn. It could be to do with your work ethic, and how you're working your way to the top, some sort of glow up here. It also talks about wounds and how we heal them, because the heart being so present in this is to do with heart wounds as well, or heart strings, the way that we are connected to others through, you know, emotional connections. The surveillance coming out here and mind control is very interesting, because I feel like somebody has, someone's sweating a lot. It's almost like the first signs of a heart attack or something, and I'm not a doctor, I cannot diagnose anyone, nor would I try to. But this person's health is not doing well. And I don't know if it's because they've got some sort of news or information or letter or something along those lines, and it has really stressed them out even more than they were before. Things are hanging in the balance is what I heard. Things are hanging in the balance. So we have surveillance coming out here. Pop you fur. You also have mind control. I've been told to put this one back. Just now, put this back. Okay, so I'm going to pop you in there. And we are going to take another card. Interesting, I've never had to do that before. Tell me about what you would like to come out instead. What do you need to know? The devil definitely wants to be seen. What do we need to know about this crown of passion and the surveillance? What's going on here? These are stuck together. We have gift in reverse. And we also have revenge. That showed itself earlier. There seems to be some sort of manipulation of some sort of narrative here about you being a bad guy, or you being a villain, or you wanting some sort of revenge. I do seem to get a lot of readings talking about some sort of setup here. A setup that never actually works, because you are divinely protected. You divinely have the wings of Archangel Michael and the legion of his angels wrapped around you. You really do. The gift being in reverse, isn't that interesting that it's a Christmas gift and we're coming up to Christmas? I know my reading's timeless, meaning, you know, whenever you see this, it's for you. But right now we are in the run-up to Christmas when this is being filmed. Something was not reciprocated, received, accepted. There's a stress here. Why didn't you take it? Why didn't you let it in? Why didn't you open something up? Now we have revenge and crime of passion. It honestly feels like someone is trying to point the finger at you for something that you didn't do, and they need you to accept something here for it to more or less point to you, and that you did it. Okay, revenge coming through here is the Ace of Swords, so we do have information coming forward. There is some sort of information here. This is why someone is sweating so hard under the collar, because there is information, and this information probably points the finger away from you. It probably points the finger well away from you. Crime of passion, huh? And you have fire underneath, so we have fire signs. Fire signs, we are looking at our Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We are looking at our first impressions, how people see you the first time they meet you. We are looking at Leo, which is looking at drama. It's looking at pleasure, creativity. And we are looking at Sagittarius, which is talking about your belief systems, your philosophies, and also about travel, both long range and short. They're in reverse. What is this crime of passion? Because that's a lot of bodies on the floor. That's a lot of people catching strays, seriously. I feel like, why are you supposed to be going down with it? Why are you specifically supposed to be going down with it? It feels like the information that's coming forward is saying the opposite, but it has to do with you, your heart space. What did you say? Caregiver. It has something to do with a caregiver here. Okay. Is someone pointing the finger at you for red rum? You know what I mean? For unaliving someone. Here we've got obstacles coming out here.
Right, so my granddad made me know that there's certain people, I'm even parley, but whatever. Certain people that I've chatted that I had something to do with my granddad's murder. Or murder, you know. I was going to say death, but spirit said murder. To Bombaclot. Imagine. Wow. But there's certain people that says that what led to his death was that when he stayed at mine, he had a fall in the shower, but he didn't have a fall in the shower at mine. He had a fall in the shower at his house. I took it he was stopping with me. That is true. My granddad was living with me for a while because my nan had gone to Jamaica. It was him one in the house. He says to me he didn't feel comfortable when he phoned me, because he used to phone nearly every day, and that's the truth. My ex-husband might not verify, but it is the truth. So I says to Granddad, you can come and stop at mine, I'll come and get you, and I'll make up things. I says to my ex-husband, such man, Granddad's at the house, he's not doing too well, he wants to come down, and such man was like, absolutely, of course. So I went up and I got my granddad. I phoned my mum first, and my mum was like, if Granddad wants to go with you, let him go with you. I said, what about everybody else? Because I'm sure everybody else could have a problem. My mum said, don't worry about nobody else. If Granddad's saying he wants to come and stop at yours, let him come and stop at yours. So I went up there and I picked him up. Packed him his little outfits, his pyjamas, his hat, his coat. He was ready, laced up his shoes, he couldn't wait. I was like, oh Granddad, are you going to get in the car? Because I've got one of those Land Rovers, but he was fine. I helped him up, he stepped up, he got in it, and off we went. It wasn't the Land Rover, sorry, it was the Chevrolet. And off we went, and he got to mine, he come out, he got into the house, over the threshold, and he sat on the settee, and he was fine. He was absolutely fine. And you know, for a few days or weeks we wiped him down, but then he was like, I'm ready to go and have a shower, can you bring me home to have a shower? And I was like, no problem, Granddad. And I took him home, you know what I'm saying? I got him his clean clothes ready and everything. He'd gone in the bathroom, he knows what he's doing, it's his house. The bathroom's all set up for him and my grandma. So my grandma's bath set up, she's got the seat in hers that lowers her down and brings her up. He's got the railings to help him in and out, you know what I mean? And yeah, I was in the living room on my phone or whatever, and then I heard my granddad yell out, scream out, and I went running and he was behind the door, and I was like, Granddad, and he was like, come in, and I wiggled through the door. When I came in, he was sat naked on the floor. He'd obviously just come out the shower, and I went to run back out the bathroom. Granddad, you get all these bits was out on the floor. And he said, no, come in. And I've come in again, and I've grabbed the towel and I've thrown the towel over him and checked, and I can see that he's grazed his leg. His leg's grazed and it's bleeding. And I've wrapped him up and I've helped him up. And I've got him into the living room and set him down. And I've called the doctor, because the numbers are on one of those little memo boards with all the numbers. I think Auntie Pauline had put it together, which was a really good idea. So I called Granddad's doctors, and then the doctor came over. He wanted him to check him over to see if he needs to go into hospital. I did end up bringing him to the hospital still, because my mum was like, if you feel that he still needs to, if it needs to be checked, then check him. And I said, yeah, I did. And I'm glad I did, because when we went in, he showed signs that he'd had a minor stroke. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So if he hadn't gone into the hospital, we wouldn't have even known that. You know what I mean? They couldn't say when he had it. So they couldn't say if it was at the time of the fall or whatever, but the heart had showed signs that he'd had a minor stroke, several strokes, I think. You know what I mean? So he wasn't that well. He was laughing at my mum, telling my mum that he was on the floor naked. And he was laughing about having his bits out, and my mum was laughing. I was so embarrassed. I was like, nah. It's not funny. You know, but that's the thing when you got grandparents or you got old parents, you get what I'm trying to say? You have to put them things to one side. And I had to put them things to one side and just be like, my granddad's in there on the floor, what am I supposed to do? Leave him in there. You know what I mean? I felt like Noah. The story of Noah. Ain't it a sin or some shit like that? So you know, I have to do one of Noah's picnic, because he's seen Noah naked. But again, that's the Dr. Malika York story, isn't it? The ancient Egyptian order. But anyway, let's carry on. It's not like I haven't got work to do today.
They have obstacles. A caregiver has got obstacles at pointing the finger at you and making out like you are the one that's in the wrong, that you are the one that's guilty, you're the one that's hiding something here. And the fact that you did not accept something. And I don't know if this has to be a physical gift, because I'm looking at surveillance and then gift. This could have been like getting an email and being told to click on a link and you're like, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I'm not welcoming in malware onto my computer, onto my phone, onto my laptop. No. It can be as simple as that. Like, you did not accept something here. It's more or less like you did not go past go, you did not collect your $200. And that's fine. I don't want to go past go. I don't want to collect that money because it's attached to something very weighty that will get me in trouble. And that's what I'm getting here. Okay, caregiver wants to come out, so let's pop this one down. Interesting. So we have a caregiver or an ex-caregiver here that was trying to set you up for the unaliving of someone, or for the, it is the unaliving. I wanted to say like the hurting or harming of someone, but it's more than that, because why have I got that song? Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Nothing wrong with me. Nothing wrong with me. What is that song? Oh my gosh, what is that song called? I actually love that song. But yeah, there's something here with people are dropping like flies. People dropping like flies. Questionable things are happening around them. And I feel like you have people from your past. And why am I getting family? I am getting strong vibes of family members trying to point their finger at you. People that you don't speak to, people that you may be distant from. It doesn't have to be that you're estranged from them. It could have been that you just grew distant. You know, you got on with your life, they got on with theirs. But they've been planning something here. They've been watching, plotting, and planning. But they did not expect. What is that hiding behind? See, they didn't expect what was hiding behind. They didn't expect for some sort of obstacle. They didn't expect something to be such a challenge. These people, if they're sitting in a lot of dense energy, a lot of shadowy gossip and rumours, and spill their tea on what that person's personal business is and this and that and ret-a-tear, then they would be expecting that you'd be the same. But if they don't know who you are, if they haven't seen you since you were, let's say, a child, or they haven't seen you in 5 years, they don't know the growth that you've been through. They don't know the healing you've been through. They don't know the mountains that you have had to conquer, the road that you've been walking on, to get to the point where you don't care, where you're finding peace within. Which means whatever bait they had put out didn't work. You didn't take it. You did not take it. Well done. This could have been a test, you know. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Bronwen. This is Bronwen's Cove Tarot 111. If you are new to my channel, welcome in. It's always good to have new faces. There is always space for more. We can scooch up, make some space for you. If you are a returning subscriber, soul family, as always, I love you guys. Thank you so much for just supporting this channel, for helping grow this channel and building it into a really wonderful and inclusive and welcoming community that we have here. I love you all. Thank you. I'm going to be ringing this bell. This is just to cleanse the space around us. If you have any type of sound sensitivity, it's a good idea to turn down your listening device. In 3, 2, and in 1. Okay, so we're starting off quite intense, aren't we? My goodness. Let's go over here. 1 or 2, actually. 2. Let's see. I feel like something's going to kick off over Christmas. Something's going to kick off in the winter time. Now, my readings are timeless. You can be picking up on past, present, future energy, an amalgamation of all 3 of those. So you, even if you're not watching this when this is being uploaded, if it resonates, it resonates. But I feel that with this, with the Christmas being here, there's something they tried doing a past winter or a past Christmas, and they've been building up to doing the same thing again. Why are people dropping like flies around someone? It's like they had a very specific, I felt like saying I have a very specific set of skills that I have mastered over years, like, you know, from Taken. No, sorry, I digress. A very specific plan, some sort of plan here that was really detailed out, and it's taken a really long time. Why are they doing this is what I want to know. Why is this being done? Can we just put that down? Okay. Why is this being done? So we've got death coming out here. There's a literal unaliving happening here. Why is someone trying to frame the collective for this? Oh, someone doesn't like you. They don't like you. The 3 of Cups is in reverse because you've ended their party in some way. You're making them take accountability.
It does,
I don't know how you're doing this, but they're having to grow up, take responsibility, take accountability. It has to do with foundations, identity, money. There's also this energy of wanting to disown. I don't know if you have become estranged from them or if they've wanted to disown you. I don't know. There's something about what you're not one of them. You're different.
100%.
You're different.
Definitely.
Nothing wrong with being different. We have got the Queen of Cups coming out here. Yeah, we have a mother figure. I'm getting like someone's auntie, and I don't know why. Someone's auntie or like an older feminine energy here. And just because I'm saying feminine, it doesn't have to be your auntie. It could be your uncle, right? But an elder. There's an elder in the family. You may have not liked them growing up. They may have been like your least favourite older cousin or your least favourite auntie or uncle. And like when it came to Christmas and they were like, oh, so auntie so-and-so and uncle so-and-so is coming over. You're like, really? Do they have to? Even when you were young? So that's going to be confirmation for someone here. It's about money. It's always about money. Always about money. You're getting very close to something, that's why. Whatever they did, because to try and set someone up for red rum, for unaliving someone, means there has to be someone who passed away. And they have to have passed away in some sort of questionable situation, right? this person is responsible, or they know who is responsible. And this is about money. I should have known when I saw that red, all of that red. When I said it was about identity, it's also about money. Because your root chakra also looks at material wealth. Okay, they're keeping an eye on something that you're doing. They may be keeping an eye on your business. Like literal your business. Like they are up in your business, up in your grow, wanting to know everything. But I also think it has to do with how much you're earning of something here. Someone stays up. Doing what? Trying to guess how much money you have? Like, would you be able to pay for an attorney, like a real good attorney, to get you out of this? Because this feels like it's revenge towards not even you. Why does this feel like this goes generations? If this is like an auntie or an uncle, it could be that they have a vendetta against your mum or dad.
Imagine.
Whoever they're related to, right? They don't have to be related. But there's definitely something here with singling out you or your siblings or anyone that was close to that specific parent. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. That's intense, man. Tell me that's surveillance. We have the Two of Pentacles coming out here, okay? So they're watching and they're going to make a decision. Or they already have made a decision here. What was the decision? Can I get one more, please? Can I get clarity on the Two of Pentacles? Clarity on the Two of Pentacles, please. Okay. So we have the Chariot. We also have the Fool. The decision is to stop something from going ahead. They may have had to stop what they were doing. That's why we're getting someone who was like, almost like in the throes of having a heart attack or being so stressed out that they're giving themselves ulcers. Because information has come forward that this carefully curated plan to set you up, to take you down for something your mum, your dad, your grandparents, I don't know, it's not going to work because you won't play ball. You won't receive the gift. So it's almost like all of the players in this game are slowly dropping out or moving away. Because without you taking some sort of bait, it's never going to work. And it's actually then making everything really dangerous for all of those involved who are like, yeah, I'll say that I saw them at so-and-so, or I saw them here, or I saw them there. They're all looking like liars now. They're all looking like liars. We have the Chariot in reverse. We have got Cancer coming through, so they do have family. This was blocked. It didn't move. Something didn't move. Something was supposed to go to you. It's almost like, here's a gift. Here's loads of money. I haven't seen you in ages. This is your portion. And you taking it and then it being the actual malware. It being the thing that actually sets you up for someone's unaliving. But it feels like someone's unaliving either in the family or someone who was connected to the family. It's like having a trust fund that was created by the friend of your grandparents, and they really wanted this trust fund to go to somebody in the family, I don't know. And then that person passes away or whatever, and they don't get that money. The aunt and uncle do, or someone else gets it, and they want to pass on to you. They want to set you up so it looks like it was all you. And they're doing this. This feels like it is a lifelong grudge against your parents or your caregivers or something along those lines. They didn't like you either. They didn't like you either. These people are crazy. Like, if your intuition, your spidey senses were like tingling when you were a kid and you could pick up the nefarious energy, oh my goodness. They were threatened by you. They were threatened by you because you could kind of read, even when you were young, what this person was doing, what this person's intent was. They didn't like it. They didn't like being seen by a child. The Fool is coming out in reverse. This is a non-starter. So something that they were trying to do, I feel like they tried to get revenge in a different way in the past, and it became a non-starter because of something that you said, something that you did. And I feel like they may have tried to get like revenge on a family member, on like, I don't know if this is like your parents, whoever, caregivers, in the past when you were a kid and you picked up, you may have said something that made them step back, that made them go, no, I can't do this right now. We have to call our whatever it's called, call our engines, because this person's picking up on it. That's why they're targeting you. This is the same people, though, that have been targeting you for a very long time with spiritual attacks. Same people. Because that energy of like the third eye hurting, I felt like a pain in my third eye, like it wants to open and it's being forced closed, because that's almost like purposeful denial in something here. I don't know if other people in the family kind of turned a blind eye to behaviors of whoever this caregiver was. I don't know if, certain people around the family kind of saw what was happening and didn't say anything. I don't know if this is also to do with something that may have happened to the caregiver that people turned a blind eye to, specifically your caregivers, your family, your mum and dad, whatever, because it feels like it's multi-layered. Like them wanting to get back at your mum or dad through you, and connection, and also to you because of what you represent, this is not just, it's not just money, it's pride. It's money and pride. We do have the Queen of Pentacles coming out here. They got paid a lot of money to make sure that someone did not get to either make a will or change it back. It's always about inheritance, isn't it? It feels like money was going towards you. It was going to you, or it was going to your mum or your dad, and not to this auntie, uncle, whoever. They couldn't deal with that. They lost their cool. You guys. And we also have here the Queen of Cups in reverse. What just dropped? It's fine. Queen of Cups, manipulator. This person was a manipulator. They wanted to be seen as being loving and caring and sweet and nurturing. They didn't give a flying rat's bumhole about the person they were caring for, that I feel was like either the glue that held the family together, or somebody that was like an elder, maybe someone who was just like really loved by many.
It was. It really was.
My goodness.
Granddad really was.
Tell me about the Two of Pentacles when it comes to surveillance. Wait, you wanted to come out. Eight of Pentacles. So someone's been paid to either watch you. I think that whoever it is over here that's a caregiver, this distant family member, has paid a private investigator or someone to watch you. They're trying to collect info and they're panicking. They're really panicking. At first I thought it was whoever was surveilling you was panicking, but I don't think it is. I think it is this caregiver or ex-caregiver, be that your aunt, uncle, whoever. I feel like they are freaking out because they're the ones that are having like issues with their health because they're so stressed out about this, because this whole thing, it really, it levied, or it kind of like weighed on whether or not you would be greedy, whether or not you would take this money, and you're not taking it. You're not interested. Or your guides, Archangel Michael, has just been like, nah, that's not even coming to your attention. You're not even being made aware of this. Eight of Pentacles here, so this is paid work.
Get 100 free spins with your first £10 deposit. All winnings are paid in cash. The casino you love.
It's not long now, but can you see what I'm saying about different information coming through? It's a mad one. She ain't even done yet. Let's crack on.
Yeah, High Priestess in reverse. I knew that there were spiritual attacks. There was like a curse or hex or something that was placed on your ability to connect into the law of abundance. Just trying to steal your luck. Someone here has been lucky since the day they were born, and it kept being siphoned, stolen, taken without your understanding or knowledge, especially when you were a child, by this specific family member. And everybody else turned a flipping blind eye because they got so used to it happening to them as well that they just was like, oh, that's just the way they are. That's like when you have like a really narcissistic family member or person at work and they're horrible and they just drain your energy being around them. Like, I don't want to hear the same thing every week, every day about your problems. Figure out a solution. Why are you coming here to drain my energy and my happiness and my joy so I have to go back to work tired? That's the energy of this person. People are just like, oh yeah, that's just the way they are. It's like, no, you're making an acceptance for their crappy behaviour. Tell me about this revenge that was forced.
That's my mum's behaviour. My mum's that loud one. She's the loudest one out of her siblings. My dad's the loudest one out of his siblings. Do you get what I'm trying to say? They do a lot of barking. A lot of intimidation tactics, a lot of manipulation tactics, etc., etc. But they've all got their little tweaks in my mum's family. They've all got their little twerks, I should say. You know, it's interesting because I didn't necessarily view my granddad's behaviour as narcissistic when I watched him, but I probably would say that my nan's was. But my nan's behaviour would trigger my granddad's behaviour. So it's stuff that I'd seen already in my lifetime, but I know that my mum would also say that if Nanny started cussing the kids type of thing, then eventually granddad would join in. she'd rev him up basically. But anyway, let's crack on with this. But just to say that, yeah, it has felt to me that my energy has been sucked off from a child, you know, and that I'd been surrounded around warlocks and demons and witches from a child. It's not new. You know what I mean? I knew I had the knock sticks. I knew within me that there was some crazy shit going on, but my two eyes, what I was seeing in this reality that I was in, was not showing me that all the time. And then even when it did, I was still making choices to ignore it. You know, ignore the red flags and shit. But it was necessary at the same time. Come, let's crack on.
You have the death card coming out. So this was stopped in the past. This may have been stopped in the past by the person who actually passed away. Oh, okay. Someone's aunt, uncle, family member is mean. They're meanies. They're real meanie Scrooges. If this is like a masculine, they are a curmudgeon. They sit there counting their pennies like Scrooge. If they are feminine, they're a curmudgeon-y. I don't even know what the female version is, but they are obsessed with the love of money. The Five of Cups coming out here. This person didn't care about the stress or strain that they put on other people. They didn't care about the stress or strain that they put on their family, because they are involved in how this person's end went. And I feel like it's an elderly person, or I feel like it's a vulnerable person. Somebody who are near the end would not have had either what's it called? You know when you don't really have all of your marbles, you can't really remember certain things. I mean, it could have been like your grandparents or your grandma or whoever having dementia, and so this caregiver becomes the person who
steps in.
What is it called when they take over the
mental capacity,
the coming and goings of the day? So like payments and bills and
supposed to
like
be
they
the
become
executive
the caregiver of their estate or something along those lines. That's what I feel like it is. But this person is like devil incarnate, nasty, spiteful, bullyish, abusing, but only behind closed doors. There's a covert narcissist coming through. No, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose anyone, but they've got covert narcissists written all over them. Because they didn't care. They literally did not care. They lapped it up.
Fuckers.
They didn't care that other people had burdens.
This is why I'm frustrated.
Forward to you.
This is why.
Losing everything. That's crazy. What? What kind of psychopathic person is this? Take up the caregiver, please. This 2 of cups in the bus. 2 of wands. Yeah, they've done it before. They've done it before. They've done things like this before. And I think because it was a different time, a different generation, a different way that people looked at safety or whatever, they got away with being an abuser to vulnerable people. They could have been a nurse, a doctor, they could have worked in an old people's home, they could have been in the service industry where they work with like those who were elderly or disabled or just needed extra care, and they got away with abusing people. Like when you see, I've seen documentaries that made me cry in the past of elderly people whose you know, their children pay all of this money for them to go to like what they think is going to be the best home care, elderly home care place, and they were wondering why this person that they love so much was so frightened every time they came to see them, and they're non-verbal now. So they put a small camera in a clock, and it turned out that one of the people that was supposed to be looking after the old people's home was beating them up for no reason other than I want power over someone vulnerable. Because people like that, they exist in the world, which is crazy. It's crazy. And this is the energy that I'm getting of someone's family member. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Yeah, they want to take. But you didn't take the bait. And because you didn't take the bait, you left them. You have left them lost, depressed, and feeling like they want to self-exit, which is awful. No one should want to feel like they want to self-exit. You have burnt out, burdened, empty, stressed, because it all points back to them. It all points back to them. I honestly feel like I'm going to keep this reading shorter. I don't feel like I need to put more on there, because I've been chatting for a while, haven't I? Birth or conception of a child or enterprise. Do not back down from opposition. Show strength and fortitude. Okay. So they were putting together some sort of case here, stop you from getting money, put you behind bars, get you to be quiet. But that's not going to happen now. And you know what? I'm changing what I said about the person who was like being paid to watch you. They are stressed. Because I don't know if like the person who is watching you is just a private investigator, or if their lawyers have got specific private investigators, specific ones, to come in and collect specific information so that they can build a case that just makes you look really guilty. Because either the private investigator or the lawyer, they are stressing the F out. Because they can't get anything on you. They can't collect anything on you. What are they finding? Well, they go on your social media and then they see that you post on Facebook now and again, or you don't have any social media, or that you just have a blog, or you put your paintings up on I don't know, art.com or whatever. They haven't got anything that they could use against you. Anything. It feels like they're going to expose themselves in like the dumbest way. The dumbest way. How are they going to do this? How are they going to do some dummies? Private investigator. Again, birth or concept of a child or enterprise. It has to do with them shutting down some sort of enterprise or business that may have been funded by some of the money that they got or they stole after whoever it is that left this will. I feel like you were left a lot of stuff. You were left a lot of stuff that you never got. We have October here as well. Yeah, so this is just gone. This is just gone. They tried doing something here and it didn't work out. It didn't work out. Your intuition was on point. If you were offered something, it feels like you intuitively knew just to ignore it. Or just to say no in a really polite way.
You know what happened to me? My ancestors sent me to Jamaica. They said, you go in Jamaica to meet some Masons. I said, all right. I went to Jamaica. I said to my daughter, listen, we're going to Jamaica. The ancestors said we're going to Jamaica, but guess what? Half of the holiday is going to be about me and you, because we're going to deal with some mother and daughter wounds, but really it's my mum and me wounds, but it was coming out in me and my daughter's wound, daughter's experience. And the second half is that spirit's going to have me out there doing things. So my daughter was like, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? So when we was out there, so said, so done. We dealt with mum and daughter things, which was absolutely beautiful, it was. And I also dealt with some spiritual stuff out there. Anyway, I also met these Masons. So anyway, I first met the one brother who was called Sheldon on Bloody Bay Beach in Negril. And the day after meeting him, or 2 days, because he was always acting like he was too nice, like he wanted me to speak to him first, but I'm not that girl. And I don't know which girls come back and forward to Jamaica looking for some excitement, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here on a mission. So anyway, the 2 days after, I must have walked up the beach, and when I walked up the beach, I met another guy, and he was kind of selling the same thing, because I'm going on this Sheldon's cruise ship. Not cruise ship, this ship, and it's like a music ship. You dance and you get to go to Ritz Cafe and whatever. So anyway, the guy stopped me to tell me about it. And I said, oh, I'm already booked with somebody. He said, who you booked with? He wants to know who I'm booked with, because he's saying to me that it's his thing. So I said, well, I'm booked with a man down the road called Sheldon. He said, oh, okay, Sheldon's my brother. Ask him about me. My name's, he said his name, Makinis. And my man's Makinis. So later on, when I was down on the beach, boss man was coming down for me to pay for the cruise, the ship thing for me and my daughter, and he was going to take a card payment. So I was standing up there with Sheldon waiting for beach boss to come down the road to come verify this blood clot payment, but man's taking forever. So while he's taking forever, my battery dies. So I tell Sheldon I'm going to go upstairs and charge my phone and come back down a little later. So he said no problem. So when I went down the second time, I think that's when I asked him if my man up the top there said he was his brother, and he turned around and said yeah. And I said, alright then, safe. No need for no conversation. Man's a Mason. He's a Mason anyway, but he's also wearing his little compass and ruler ring too, innit? A little proud Mason. But that wasn't just the reason why I thought he was a Mason. That's because I also recorded my man on the way back, telling me that my man's a Mason, that when he introduces people to him, he's always doing these funny handshakes with them, and he's just met them. So the other brother put him on blast anyway. But then when I went with the brother that I met up the top of the beach, I'm going to say the one to the litter, he took me to meet his dad. So I'm saying things move fast around here, you know. Apparently he's been searching for me. He's got a 9-bedroom house. He's got all these businesses. I don't need to do anything. He's already given that speech. I'm now meeting the dad. And I was only in Jamaica for a week, just to put it into perspective. And I didn't meet this guy until day 4. Yeah, because I didn't go on the boat until Saturday, and I was leaving the Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I didn't meet him until day 4, 5. 4, probably 4. Yeah. But it was enough time for me to start the mission, deal with the mission, and complete the mission in its entirety. And his number one mission was obviously to sleep with me. Obviously more, but to fool me up and to sleep with me. And my mission was to not get fucked, basically. Yeah, as well as wrap him up. Because when the Almighty comes through and Spirit comes through and they start to chat somebody's truth to them, going through their Akashic records, that truth will hit them so hard, it will kill a demon inside of them. And you see the demon die, you see them, you know what I mean? So even though it's to not get fucked, it's also to do some full on, I won't say damage, because it's not really damage when you think about it. If you light work out, you got to go into the dark, and this is the dark. These are some serious demons, you know. They've got some serious abilities, serious powers, astral projection gifts, fucking voodoo worship, fucking. They got some weight behind them. I would never take one of these missions that the Almighty has put me on that has evolved the male counterpart as something easy. And I would never disrespect these male counterparts and say that they're dickheads. They're not. They're masters in their own right. They are masters in their own right. The ones that get sent to me on part of my mission are masters in their own right. So I would never disrespect and say that they were dickheads. It's just that the way it turns out, and the way it transpires, is that they weren't really a worthy contender. You know, and it's quite disappointing, to be fair, because I have been asking for a worthy contender. You know, yeah. And some of them have been, in one way or another, I guess. Not worthy in that respect, but had me in my head. You know what I mean? And I've been at war in my own head with myself, battling against myself, battling against the head and the heart, battling against light and dark, battling against my masculine and feminine, battling against good versus evil. Just, you know what I mean? Like it has had me in those positions where I've neither been able to make a move or not make a move, and just being a complete, I wouldn't even say that it was a complete plateau, because it's the plateau didn't reach until very much near the end, where I just had to, like, two sides just had to give up and think, fuck it, man, we have to just compromise here, because this is killing us, literally. We're being ripped apart from the inside out, mentally, emotionally, felt like physically, to be honest. But then I had to learn how to come in and be with oneself and be able to kind of harmonize between all desires, good, bad, masculine, feminine. Fuck me, man. That's been a roller coaster. But anyway, coming back to this particular stuff that she's talking about is really hitting home for me, especially with regards to the things that I've been dealing with. You know what I mean? Like, I've got a whole folder down here dealing with my granddad's shit. You know, and Spirit wants me to pick it up and show you the front page of it, but I don't want to put my granddad's business on that. This is what they're telling me to pick up, basically. But there's details on the other side that I don't want to show. But I will show you what they're telling me to pick up. And we've been doing work. So yeah, let's just see what comes of it. Whatever you want me to do, Granddad, I already said I'll do. Alright, you don't have to worry about nothing. You don't have to worry about these people. You know, my granddad was trying to let me know what was going on with his estate, and it was my bad. I didn't want to know. And I've put that on the table. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to be involved. I didn't think it was my place to be involved. Nothing. So I do not know anything realistically about, when I say don't know anything, I know what I know, obviously. But in terms of like being alive and him saying to me, I got £10 on that side, I got £10 over that side. No, because when he's talking to me, I'm shutting him down. But I do have recordings of certain conversations. And if it's stored in my iCloud, you know, because we're talking back in 2013, 12, 13, 14, then I've got dictaphones. I've got conversations with him and my nan. I used to let them do counselling. They used to come to mine and do counselling. I'd pick them up. And or I'd be at their house, or I'd be on the phone to my nan, or I'd be on the phone to my granddad at different times, but they would call me and we would have these conversations, and they would share different information about each other to me. And I'd think sometimes on the phone, my God, is this what me and my husband's got to look forward to? Because the same conversations that my nan and granddad are disagreeing on are the same conversations that me and such man are disagreeing on. Is it just a lifetime of this? It used to really worry me that the things that my nan and granddad are arguing about are so insignificant. It's scary. You know, one's worrying about how much they'd paying to clock the electric, and the other one's saying that, you know, trying to justify why they've got 3 irons in the house. Just consuming. And my granddad's like, yeah, but she don't understand that the house has to run, and she don't make no contribution to the running of the house. And my nan's like, well, how does the house run? She does the food, she does the ironing, she does the cooking, she does the cleaning. How can the house run without her contribution? And it's true. Both contributions are just as significant as the other. Why are they in a competition? Why is my husband trying to be in a competition with me? I thought, no way in hell. This can't be it. No way. Scary. And then sometimes they'd be there and one wants to talk over the other and the other wants to talk over the other, because as much as people believe that Nanny was shy and she had no mouth, she had mouth. She definitely had mouth, and she knew when to use her mouth too. And I was definitely in the company of the times when she used her mouth, you know, and she told her story how many times. And I would have to give Grandad the pen. So Grandad, you talk because you've got the pen. Nanny, you can't talk because you don't have the pen. If Nanny tried to talk, Nanny, you don't have the pen. Sit back in the chair, wait her turn. Grandad's talking. Okay, Grandad, you've made that point, but you have to stop now, because if you carry on making points, Nanny won't be able to answer that point. So give Nanny the pen so Nanny can answer the point. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And that's how we'd roll with my grandparents. That's the relationship I had with them. I remember sitting down and massaging my nan's feet after my granddad had died. I believe it was after my granddad died. If it wasn't, then I want to say granddad was in the front room, but I want to say that I don't believe he was. Not with the story that my nan was telling me about. She was telling me about the time that my granddad had raped her when she was 13, 14 years of age. And what had happened. What had happened I'd heard the story already, because I think Auntie Pauline had told me the story anyway. So it was known for years anyhow that allegedly that had been the case. But when my nan explained it out of her own mouth to me, it didn't make any sense. And what I understand of my granddad through other people's mouths, like I've been to Jamaica and I've got a cousin called Danny, his mum's called Pauline, and she turned around and said that my granddad was known as the town bike because he was good looking, handsome, had money, had blue eyes. Women would toss themselves at him. You know what I mean? So she called him the town bike. He had every woman, every girl. Do you understand? And my nan, being a little girl at the time, because my granddad is 14 years older than my grandma. You know what I mean? So he's in his late 20s if she's 13, 14. And also my nan is his brother's, my nan's brother and him are friends. That's why he's on the land, because he's doing some work for my nan's dad. So my great granddad. You know what I'm saying? So when she's explained the situation and the makeup to me of the capacity and which is at the house, and the way the arrangements were made, that now that he's touched her, his dad's come to her dad because they know each other. Do you know what I'm saying? And they've agreed for them to get together. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So my nan ends up having children for her alleged rapist. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's very weird, especially how my nan was describing it and how these agreements were discussed. You know what I'm saying? My nan was deaf and dumb. Not dumb, but deaf. They say deaf and dumb in them days, innit? But deaf, definitely. I wouldn't say she's dumb, because she says to me, and this is another thing that I think my nan has slipped up on. My nan has always acted like she's been deaf and dumb and that she can't read and write our whole life as kids. But our whole life as kids, she's always sat there doing word searches. And I used to think, if somebody can't read and write, how do they do word searches? But that's just what I used to think when I was little, because we'd always known as kids that Nanny was born deaf and that she didn't learn to read and write. Okay, so there's no secrets like that in the family. We all know what's going on, but that's fine. They read the letters for Nanny, they sort out things for Nanny. But I remember being in my 20s and turning up at my nan's house, as I often did, unannounced. Yeah. And my nan was in there doing a course with Learning Direct, and she didn't have any supervisor or anything around her. And I was like, how's this woman doing a course of learning direct online learning? Like, it's solid, you know. Like, yeah, you can do it, but you need to know what you're doing in order to do online learning. You know, it's not the same as in-class learning. You're expected to have a level of independency to learn in the first place. But not only that, it's online. That means it's also technology, computer studies. Does Nanny know how to turn on a computer? Clearly, yes. Nanny knows how to do a lot more. So I'm like, Nanny, yeah, how are you doing a learning direct course? And she went, I just want to lick or something. Me, I look bored. That time I'm looking at it, I can see she's halfway through the module. She's halfway, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm in education, I'm assessor. I would assess something like this at college level, confirmation. So I can see already that my nan, all those downloads I used to get as a kid, looking at her suspect, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, this woman can read, man. This woman can do shit. You know what I'm saying? It was true. She really could. She sat down there with me at the same time she said about my granddad raping her. She also told me that just before that she had an opportunity. She went to stop at her mum's sister's. Her mum's sister didn't have no children. She was married. She went down there to help because my nan was a good cook and a cleaner upper. Yeah. So she's gone down there and she's helping and she's telling me how her auntie's husband is letting her know how good a cook she is, that she's not better than the auntie in a negative way, but running joke, if that makes sense. So my nan is remembering these sweet memories. And then she turns around and says how her auntie was going to send her to America to go to school over there. It was going to be like a special educational needs school for children that were deaf, but they could gain qualifications and everything else like that. So my nan was really happy because that's where she was going from her aunties, because her auntie didn't have any children. Her auntie was going to make this investment in her and send her to America. My nan was in Jamaica at the time. So that automatically tells me that there's a level of understanding already there then, isn't there? Because she's telling me how she felt as a child, going to her aunties, going to cook there, hearing what her uncles got to say, even the hearing what her uncles got to say. How is she hearing what her uncles got to say if she's deaf? How is she understanding the opportunity to be able to talk about the opportunity in the way that she's talking about the opportunity if her experience is deaf? She's not saying that the family knew sign language. We've never seen none of the family use sign language around my nan. Do you know what I'm saying? And remember, she was supposed to be deaf until up to the age of 14. At 14, she got her hearing back. That's what the story has always been. She got her hearing back at 14. But at 14, she was pregnant with my Uncle Lloyd. There's just elements of it that just don't, you know what I mean? It just gets my little spider senses out, let's put it that way. And my spider senses have been out with that one. I don't know. Nan is a tricky one. My nan, as in my dad's mom, says she calls them the three bitchy witches. My nan and her two sisters. They're witches, which I know they are witches. They're kitchen witches. Just because I've watched my nan in the kitchen most of my life growing up, I spent a lot of time in the kitchen. I love to watch my nan cook. Oh, you had to keep an eye on her too, because she was suspect in the kitchen a little bit too. You know what I mean? Like, she's one of them ones who just cut off the edge of the mold and still serve. You know what I mean? Still cook with it and stuff like that. So sometimes you have to watch her because she can do some. As she got older, definitely, man. My God. You know, they say that some women lose their ability to cook once they go through the menopause, and I think my nan was one of them. I remember my nan's food being the best food ever. Liking my granddad's dumplings and stuff like that, but still hailing up nanny's food. She used to make all kinds of stuff. Mince pies, blue jars, patties. You know, she was a proper baker. Like, she'd just be in the house and she'd just go in the kitchen and just start baking. Baking and freezing, baking and put down, baking and, you know what I mean, all kinds of different things. Chicken patty, mutton patty, saltfish patty. Oh my God, they were beautiful. You go to Nanny and Grandad, she said, go in the freezer. She got like 3 chest freezers in the yard, plus a big stand-up chest freezer. And you're always going in there, she's taking out things. Every time we used to go there as kids, we used to get a bag of shopping to go home with. Every time. She'd pack up your bag. Take these and take these, we don't have much, but take these. Before you know it, you're going out the door with 3 bags of shopping. You're like, Nanny, we can't carry no more. We're on the bus, you know. Those are my childhood memories of my grandparents. Can you imagine? And look there now. So sad. Criminal.
And for others, your guides didn't even bother you with the energy of investing to look into seeing what that was. They were just like, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. That's not even on your radar. You're not even going to have to know about it. What about the death card, please? This revenge. February's coming out in reverse. We got February, we've got temporary problems. So this is something that may come back, not to bite you in the butt, but it feels more like them. It's something that's going to be brought up in a future court case. 1 second, let me just check. Because I've got food shopping coming. They're on their way, you guys. Let me... Where's the other one I've got? Okay. Let's close down this reading. Tell me about this kind of fashion, distress. Control your anger or you will be sorry. Okay, somebody here is going to crack. And it's all going to come spilling out. It's all going to come spilling out. And literally all of the information that this PI has got, or this lawyer has been collecting, this is literally going to put away so many people in your family on the side that is distant or estranged. It's going to put so many people away in prison, not jail, prison. Because this is crazy. Last one, please. And they're going to try and say it was a misunderstanding. That's wild. But literally, you're going to break the illusion if you continue to ignore some sort of gift that's coming towards you. Because I feel like they're going to try again. I do. I'm going to leave it there. I really hope that gave you the confirmation and clarity that you needed, that you already intuitively knew. If you are new to my channel and this resonated for you and you'd like to see more of my content and when I post, I would love for you to hit on the like, the subscribe and on the notification bell so you can see exactly that and when I upload. If you are a returning...
I'll just give a...
Kisses. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay awesome. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.
See what I'm saying? When I'm saying that Granddad's got me chopping up stuff, Granddad's got me submitting stuff, Granddad's got me opening and looking into stuff, you know what I mean? And he's just saying the time is now. So I says to him already, whatever you need, Granddad, I'm more than willing. My Granddad talks to me very, very clearly, you know, very, very clearly. He's not up and down, he's not confusing. He says what he needs to say. When he does what he needs to do. And he was always that kind of man. And I wish I did ask him about my nan. I wish I asked him face to face about my nan. I just didn't think it mattered. Because it was something we all knew from years ago. Like it, you know. But I think it did matter. It did matter. It did matter to hear his story. Because he would have said what it was. And he would have said what it wasn't. My nan was on it. By the time my nan had my uncle died at 14, she had already been pregnant twice for my granddad. Do you know that? My nan had my uncle at 14, and before she had him, she'd already been pregnant twice for my granddad. That's what she told me. Twice. Uncle Lyde was her third child, her third pregnancy. One of them was a stillborn. She had to give birth to it. She told me that story about what it was like giving birth to a stillborn, how her mum had been there and her mum had delivered it. I think she had a boy and a girl before Uncle Lyde. She said the one that was born stillborn, she was going outside and collecting, I don't know if it was coffee or she was bringing something in for her mum and she missed a step on the way out. She was sent to bring something in from outside for her mum and on the way out she missed the step. She forgot about the step and come down the step bad. You know what I mean? And the way she landed, which happened to my cousin Nadine, to be fair, apparently. When she come down the step badly, she ended up miscarriaging. Something similar to my nan, but she was that far gone, it was already a baby in it. So she ended up having to give birth to a stillborn. She described it. It's difficult, I think, when the baby's not trying to push themselves to get out. You know, you're giving birth to something that's lifeless. They've just got some extraordinary stories, but even then their stories run deeper. You know. Just a lot of information, a lot of emotional stuff coming through. But I don't want to kind of keep myself on this video too long. It's already 1:30, so I'm going to call it a wraps. But I just will say that what Bronwyn has just spoke about is what my ancestors are talking about and have been talking about. Yeah, have been talking about. This has been a long time coming, this information, and they say what they at the bottom must come at top. And there's some funny business going on, and there has been some funny business going on for a long time. Something is afoot, and the Almighty is letting us know it's coming up, it's coming out. Yeah, it's coming up, it's coming out, it's coming up, it's coming out, it's coming up, it's coming out. So on that note, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Mwah. Speak to you soon.